Hello everybody, it's Monster Forge here, and I got this guy. This is the Transformers R.E.D. Robot Enhanced Design Soundwave. Now, this isn't a new figure. I don't review the latest. I review whatever I get. So this is a semi-retro review, not really. These guys came out in, what year was it? 2020. So they're a few years old now. But these are Hasbro's answer to, I guess, it's a line that's similar to Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, Star Wars Black Series. These are figures that are kind of like right around 6-inch size, something like that, and they're more articulated, and they look more like the cartoon. And you can see on the package here they have pictures of what they look like, and I have a few of these. Focus, buddy. There. I have a few of these. I like them because of the aesthetics of them. I like that they look like the cartoon. They're very posable. But a lot of people really hate these toys because they don't transform. And it's like, well, you have transforming Transformers. But these are action figures, and I like them because they really look like the cartoon versions. And to Hasbro and to Cars' credit, they've been making more and more figures that look more like the actual cartoon that transform. And that's good. I mean, I love transforming Transformers, but sometimes I just want one that looks like the show. And like, I remember back in the 80s, the late 80s, when they started coming out with the Action Masters. And those were little tiny Transformers that didn't transform, but they came with sets that transformed, or like vehicles that transformed into something else. So you still had a transformation aspect, but people acted like it was the end of the world that there was a Transformer that didn't transform. It never bothered me. Actually, I really loved the Action Masters. I had several of those back in the day. I only have one now, and I should have brought it over here, but I'm already filming. So anyway, and I don't edit my videos. So you get to see every accident and mistake I make. So the one day that I cut off one of my fingers while I'm doing something, you'll be there for it. Anyway, I got this guy the other day. I got him for less than retail. So that was one of the things that, I mean, it wasn't far enough less that I could consider this really cheap, but it was nice to get it for a few bucks less than the retail price. But anyway, we'll get him out and take a look at him. I've watched a lot of reviews, and there's some issues with him that some people have, and I probably have the same issues, but I'm not going to freak out about it like a lot of other people. Anyway, we'll get him out of his box here. And this is a true unboxing because I have not opened him yet. How about that? Usually I don't unbox and transform Transformers because Transformers, there's like a learning curve with a Transformer. There's a learning curve with Transformers, and you have to kind of learn the transformation. And I like how they have this window that shows the accessories, which is really nice because you can see how warped the gun is. Isn't that great? That's what happens when you use soft plastic to make stuff, Hasbro. There you go. First complaint out of the way. We'll go ahead and pop his stuff all out so we don't have to keep hearing this sound all through the video. Oh, laser beam. Hands. Now, this is going to be the fun part. Oh, there is a... Oh no, the rubber bands to make sure his little chest. Oh, and there's the first PC problem that most people lose their minds. Oh, it is. You really have to do that. Okay, maybe I do have some complaints, but it has nothing to do with the figure at this point. It's just, the packaging. All right, okay, first of all, which isn't a big deal. A lot of people go nuts about that too. We'll go ahead and trim this rubber band off. All right, so, man, he looks really nice. That's the first thing I'll say right out the front door. This sucker looks nice. Oh. It's not spring loaded, so it just, there's a little thing that pushes it forward. I imagine if you popped it pretty good, and it comes out. I've read that once you have the cassette in there, it pops out even better. We'll find out. Let's see. If I remember correctly. Yeah, it goes in this way. Sits on there and... Nope. Oh. Okay. That's alright. I'm not mad. I'm not mad! I'm mad, but not in the same way. Let's make sure we're focused in on this. There we go. So first, just looking at him, he looks really good. He looks like Soundwave. It looks like Soundwave from the cartoon. Now, this one, I noticed this whenever I first got it. This part right here is going to be really loose because in the package, all right, one of the issues with these toys is they made them out of a softer plastic, which that's one of the big flaws with all of these. I had the Red Transformers Red Optimus Prime, and he's really soft. I didn't realize that when I first got him. Like, he was the first one I got, and I'm talking about like really soft. Like the joints are made out of just the softest crap, and that's a shame because this door is made out of a harder plastic. The chest, the back, and all that's made out of a harder plastic. But the limbs, the things that stick out from the body and you put the weight on, those are made out of a very soft, rubbery plastic. And so when this thing was sitting in the container and those sides were squeezing it, these legs were like that. And so what happens is that soft joint in there, it gets looser and looser inside of the thing. So that's my major gripe with these toys. Everything else is fine. They're fine, whatever. But the softness of the plastic is very detrimental. And I think it's one of the reasons why these suckers sat on shelves for so long. And they did. If you were hunting toys and stuff back when they were coming out, after the initial... We're not getting on the shelves because the COVID kept all the ships out at the bay. Kind of like all the ships are going to be out at the bay for a little while now. But I didn't say anything about that. Anyway, I don't remember where I was. I was fussing about things. Anyway, yeah, just the softer plastic was a problem, but past all of that, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. So let's look at this guy. We'll just look at the articulation first of all, which is really the star of this show. The head is very articulated. It has a ball joint, and I don't know if it's a double. No, it's not a double ball joint, but it's got like a high ball joint that comes up on a... I don't know if you can see that or not, but... Let's see if I can get the light around here. You can't really see it. There's a post with a ball on it that goes up into the head, and so you get a good range of looking around. He can really be expressive, and not that Soundwave is all that expressive, except for when he's petting his kitty cat. Anyway, that wasn't a euphemism. There's actually an episode where he sits down and Ravage comes up to him and he starts petting Ravage, which is nice. He's got a little bit of a butterfly joint right here, so you can get a little bit of in and out. He's got a hinge there. His arm goes all the way around and it's squeaky. He has a cut joint at the bicep, the top of the bicep. He has a double jointed elbow, so he can bring his arm all the way up and do it out. He has a swivel at the wrist, and he has a bit of a hinge. And with most of these, you can click it out one, like they go in and they click out one, and then you can really get the go this way. Yeah, you can get that hinge working, so he can, he can really flex. Yeah, oh yeah. Same on the other side. He does have a waist. Okay, good. I hope so. It was just kind of stuck. Sometimes if you got a figure and it's like, oh, it doesn't move, sometimes you just got to break sometimes it's the goop gets in there, sometimes it's paint, and sometimes it's just sitting still, and it's just kind of the expansion from heat and cold and stuff like that while it's been traveling makes the joints kind of freeze up a little bit. So just give it a little twist. And like you can see here, really loose hips. Like they won't even stay up. Which luckily for me, I don't really play with mine. They just kind of sit on a shelf and look pretty. So go this forward, this far forward, this far back. Can go out to the side. Now, do they have the drop down? No, they do not have drop down hips. So if he had a drop down hip, you'd be able to get up further and get like a high kick. Not that Soundwave was ever known as being a rocket, but he's got the swivel there, which is really loose. It's kind of sad. I have a technique for fixing loose joints like this, which I might use. And no, it's not floor polish. He has a double bend at the knee, which he can get his foot way back. He can kick himself right in the back, which is nice. And now the ankles on these guys are sometimes, this one pop down? No, I don't think his pops down, or maybe it does. I don't know. Some of these guys, they have like just like with the wrist where you can pop it out one. The ankles do that, but I don't think his does. I know Optimus did, and it was mainly because Optimus had a thing in the front over his leg, and to get it to articulate well, it would pop down. But I'll probably have all of this off camera. But he has, because this thing back here is kind of rubbery plastic, you can get his toe pointed way down. It only goes forward that far, but it does have, a good bit of swivel there. So posing him shouldn't be any problem. He should be able to, get some pretty wide stances in there, which is nice. That's one of the things you want with these guys, because they're kind of, their whole shtick is their posability and their accuracy to the cartoon look. Action feature, not really an action feature, but his little door comes out, and Laserbeak comes out. Okay, I had it right the first time. Laserbeak comes out, and that's his cassette looking side, and there he is. You can see where the head of Laserbeak is up there at the top. And it doesn't transform. It just kind of looks like it. That side's supposed to be in the back because he's in disguise. Now, as far as accessories go, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna trade out the hands, because the hands will pop out. And if you notice, when I was unboxing it, there were extra hands, and he has a hand, like a trigger finger hand. And he comes with this one, which is not a trigger finger. This is a itchy butt finger, so he can scratch his hiney. No, I'm kidding. This is his button activation finger hand, whatever. So he can reach up here, and this will probably require popping it out one. Yep. Kind of bend it down like that. So he can reach up and Laserbeak activate. Okay, it kind of did. Yeah, but you get the point. That's for him doing that. And mainly for, if you're posing him or whatever, you just want to have him like indicating he's about to do it or whatever. That's probably the way he will be posed on my shelf. Or he can scratch his itchy butt. Decepticons don't wash. And he has his, I don't remember what they call it, but as you can clearly see here, that is warped all out the wazoo, because they used, guess what? Soft plastic. Bleh. Like I said, my one major gripe was they used soft plastic. What they should have done is they should have used, I don't think they should have used PVC at all. That's what this is made out of. It's PVC. Polyvinyl chloride, is that PVC? I think so. And so they're not rigid. The only things on him that's rigid is the whole torso part. And like not even all of the joints are made out of rigid stuff. Like most of them are made out of really kind of bendy stuff, like at the elbows and all. But if you look at a typical transformer, oh great, fall off the shelf, that's great. If you look at a typical transformer, they're made out of ABS plastic, which is, it's hard. I could make a joke, but I'm not going to. Anyway, and it's not about it's a joke about another YouTuber. Anyway, but the plastic is rigid. It's it holds its shape. It will not bend. If ABS plastic bends, it breaks. Like it gets a stress mark on it and then it breaks. So that would have been more ideal because you get rigidity with it. And that's what you want when you're talking about transformers, because transformers are supposed to be, you know, it's a plastic representation of metal. So you would want something rigid. I'm guessing, my only guess is that Hasbro once again cheaped out making these. I'm guessing the PVC is cheaper than the ABS, and that's what they went with. And they were like, hey, you know what? These Transformers fans, they're all suckers. They'll buy whatever we make. They'll buy whatever we make. And flash forward to now, and I bought this. So, shows how much of an idiot I am. Anyway, this gun's warped. That's okay. There's a fix for it. I will heat this up, get it straight, and then dunk it in cold water. And when I say cold water, I mean like water with ice in it. So it's ice cold. And it will more than likely preserve the shape. And while I'm heating it up, I will make sure that these bits here get expanded a little bit like they're supposed to, because they're squeezed in. And if you look at this is the one from the Bumblebee movie, but they're supposed to be out like this. So that's a big difference. Anyway, the gun should fit in his hand just fine because it's all rubbery plastic. But yeah, there you go. He's got a gun, and yep. So he's got the gun. Most of the time, Soundwave usually was holding that gun up like that. So he's got the pew pew. Now this is one thing that most people have a bit of problem with. This is his shoulder missile launcher. And it doesn't want to say, oh, I didn't notice they didn't paint the red stripe on there. Guess I'll have to do that. This thing doesn't want to stay in this hole. Most people have had a problem with that. It's like while they're holding it and stuff, mine's staying in pretty good. But a lot of people, when they're moving it around, they'll move the head and just bop, and it'll just fall right out. Because this peg is really short and the hole is really shallow. So it doesn't really hold onto it all that well. But mine seems, there we go. It's already starting to slip out some. But, you know, I can fix that too, so it's not a big deal. That's not my major gripe. But anyway, this is the R.E.D. Soundwave, and I kind of got him to sit on my shelf with my regular Decepticons, because a lot of them, I like the way they look when they transform. I never have been able to get a hold of the Earth mode Soundwave that transforms. I got the Siege one, and it was the Legacy re-release of the Siege one. So I got this one. You see, he's a good bit bigger than the red one. But this one doesn't transform into a cassette deck, which oddly enough, this one doesn't either. Or micro cassette recorder, because that's what Soundwave is. This one turns into the spaceship, so he has all kind of stuff on him that isn't on the regular Soundwave. And I know that there's a new one, but if I'm not mistaken, it's at a higher price point, and I really, you know, I got to kind of watch my spending with Transformers, so I try to get them as inexpensively as I can. But this one has all the bells and whistles, like the light piping in the eyes and all that. And it's a nice figure, don't get me wrong. It's just not the Soundwave that I wanted. I wanted a Soundwave that looked more like the cartoon. I missed out on the original Earthrise one that was the cassette looking one. It was a little bit smoother, because one of the things about the Siege stuff is it's really greebly. It looks like really like high science fiction stuff, and that works because they're alien robots, so they don't have to like, oh, this thing looks like a particular thing. So the alternate modes for these are more like, you know, like with him, he turns into a spaceship or a cruiser or something like that. So the greebly stuff, which is, greebles are like all the little details that are sculpted in, which I think are cool. It's just, that's not really what I wanted for my main Soundwave. So you can see he's got the itchy butt finger of doom too. This one can actually, I've done it before. This one can actually make the button, and the button on this one works a lot better. Oh, anyway, so I think I'm going to be replacing the one on the shelf with this guy. He's a little bit shorter, but that's okay. What matters to me is how he looks with this guy. And he's a good bit bigger. I didn't realize that there's going to be that much of a difference in their sizes, but you know, that's okay. That works for me okay. I don't want anybody to be as big as Megatron, except for, like, you know, Devastator, or, you know, some of the big dudes. But that's okay for me. That works. He's somewhere around the size of Starscream, so that's what matters. And another one of the red figures that I do have is Shockwave, and that looks okay, because I always imagined Shockwave being bigger. I know in the cartoon they were around the same size, but I always just pictured Shockwave as being a bigger dude. So yeah, that works for me. And there we go. He's gonna be my main shelf Soundwave, which is good. And you know, for all the folks that complain about these things, you know, this hits what I need. I mean, it's not the perfect figure. Yeah, it'd be nicer if he was a little bit taller. It'd be nicer if he was a baller. Anyway, it would be nicer if he was a little bit bigger. It'd be nicer if he was made out of better plastic. But you know what? It's fine. It's absolutely fine to me. And, you know, if you're happy with a toy, don't give a rat's behind about what other people are saying about the thing. If you like it, you like it, and that's good enough. And for the folks that complain about this transforming, haha, I figured out a way to transform him. There we go. How about that?